right, Chicago, the Chicago Ball Hawk, Mark Carrier is in the house for a special hard-hitting edition of Chicago Sports Podcast, Monsters of the Madhouse, the voice of Chicago sports fans. We're your boys, Brandon Trax Hyatt, Leroy Pinkston the third. We got Bobby from Chicago. Oh, man, we're so excited. We got Q and we got BJ. Last but not least, thank you for joining us, everyone. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're watching on the YouTube channel. Our guest tonight is where opposing pass plays went to die and where an entire side of the field became Carrier Island. He provided better protection than an aircraft carrier. With the 6th overall pick in the 1990 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears drafted a game-changing safety out of USC. Fight on, baby. He would deliver some of the best history, delivering 3 Pro Bowl seasons, 20 interceptions, and 10 forced fumbles over 7 outstanding seasons in Chicago. Yes, one of the most popular Bears players of the 1990s. Mark was named one of the 100 greatest Bears of all time in 2019 by Hall of Fame writers Don Pearson and Don Pompey. He went on for a decorated NFL coaching career with the Baltimore Ravens, New York Jets, and Cincinnati Bengals, and sports broadcasting career with Sports USA Radio Network. Today, he is shaping and bettering the lives of Chicago youth and associate athletic director at Loyola. Friends, please welcome Mark Carrier to the Madhouse.
Yes, sir. Mark Carrier in the building. Yes. Thank you for being
How you doing tonight,
show.
sir?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Mark, every great football story has a first chapter. How did you fall in love with the game growing up in Long Beach, California?
Well, that's a good question. It's actually a funny story. The funny story is how I truly got into football, and it's ironic. My mom is in town visiting from California, but I have 2 older sisters, and I used to hang around with them. And my mom at the time just didn't think I needed to be always hanging around with my older sister. So we met a friend of a friend and said, "Hey, would your son be interested in playing football for me?" And they my mom said, "Yeah, he would love to," even though I didn't necessarily didn't say I wanted to do it. So I basically got involved with football in that regard. That's how I initially got involved. And then, of course, like anything else, once you got involved, I started enjoying the game, and obviously it helped mold me and groom me into part of the person I am today. Of course, it brought me, got me, growing up in Long Beach and getting to Long Beach Poly. It was just, but then as I got to get more involved and as I got older, I started really more enjoying the game. But initially, I didn't want to play it. It's just my mom was like, "You need to get out the house and kick you out of the house and go do something more that you need to do for a young man."
Nice. Okay. So you kind of touched on that a little bit. So do you have one of your vivid favorite football memories growing up? What was one of those?
Wow. Well, I was very fortunate to go to a school called Long Beach Poly, and all the true football aficionados know about Long Beach Poly. I think it's still, it may be 1, 2, but forever it was the #1 school who put out NFL players, guys who played NFL. Willie McGinnis, Deshaun Jackson, Leonard Russell. Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers, who just passed away.
Yeah.
Gene Washington. Just David Howard. Just a group of guys, and but my first really memory was when I was at Poly in my senior year. We finally, there's a lot of great players who played and got to go to Poly, go play college ball, and then obviously some NFL. Was that my class finally made it to the championship game. We get to play in the championship game, and that's when you kind of feel like you made Poly legend. You made it to Poly legend status. That's a big deal. once you meet that, because it's a lot of great players who came through there. You know, I always joke, and people, you know, start to know me, got to know me well, is that, you know, like Cameron Diaz is from my high school.
Wow.
She was in a class with
Mm,
Snoop. Snoop and her were in the same
Wow.
class. Snoop
Names.
Dogg, so.
Lord
How do
have
you
mercy.
get involved in football when there's Long Beach, Snoop Dogg, and
Carmen,
games on beaches and blunts and all?
Wow.
Like, how do you
Well,
get
yeah,
involved in football?
the blunt was normal. But that was a regular. Yeah,
Let's
the
go.
story I always tell about that, you know, talking about marijuana. I said, you know, when I was growing up in California as a kid, I thought marijuana was legal because everybody did it everywhere,
Right.
so cops included. So I didn't realize until I got older, like, oh, it's not. Well, man, someone better tell some cats that in Long Beach because everybody's doing it down there. So,
Bro.
Got you. Ooh, Cameron Diaz. Ooh, my lord.
Jeez.
Well, Mark, it's a pleasure to have you. I know you talked a lot about your mom just kind of putting you into football or whatnot, but when did you know, or your coach knew, that you're a natural born safety? I know there are some guys that try out other positions first, and then they kind of get placed in, you know, on that defensive backfield or
Yeah.
things like that. But when did you know, or your coach know, that you were going to be a great safety, especially for one of the greatest franchises in the world?
well,
Mm.
how I got to, you know, we were playing Pop Warner, going through the Pop Warner, Poly Pop Warner program as a kid, right? You know, at that time, just showing my age, in high school at the time, there was no ninth grade. Everybody started high school in 10th grade. So ninth grade, I was at what we called junior high at the time. And I was playing for one of the Poly programs. And then one of my coaches who coached me on the Pop Warner level was also one of the coaches at the high school level. Former Merrill Cole was a former Poly coach and great player himself there at the time. When I was trying to decide what you're going to Poly, when he was talking what you're going to do, because everybody at the time was playing both ways and all that. His recommendations to me, Mark, if I'm you, I would play safety. I wouldn't even worry about playing because I played both wide receiver and safety growing up. I said, but Mark, I would focus on being a defensive back, playing safety. I think that's where your best position lies, and that's kind of. I said, okay, and not knowing. Didn't mind playing contact, doing I love contact. So I ended up and had some great players who were at Poly that I wanted to follow in their footsteps. You know, Dennis Price, David Price, Chucky Miller, Dennis Price, a lot of great players. So I said, okay, I'll play safety, and that's how I ended up playing safety at Poly.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. All right,
That's-
it's definitely a blessing to chat with you, man. I'm super excited. You know, one of my favorite memories growing up with you in that 3 interception game your rookie year against Washington. I remember that like yesterday, man. I'll never forget that, man.
Do you
My granddaddy
remember?
was not
All right,
happy.
here's the better question. Do you remember what happened in that game?
A 10-9 loss. It was.
Yeah, think about that.
Mhm.
Think about that right now.
I know, man.
You get three. I think we had 5 turnovers in that game, and we lost.
It was
10-9.
tough. It was tough.
Sorry, answer your question. I do remember. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But my question is, how big of a factor was your speed, natural athleticism in your game to help you be
It's
great?
funny because people, you know, at the time that, you know, the combines and all that, you know, obviously it wasn't on television like it is now, and no one really, you know, if you broke 4.5, that was a big deal. Not everybody. You didn't have many people where, you know, they were running 4.3s or even 4.4. I came out because my class, when I came out of college, was the first junior class. At the time, they would not let junior classes in, and then we didn't get accepted to get in until like February, so we didn't get the chance to go to combine. We actually did a separate combine in March, mid-March, around this time, March, at Indianapolis at their outdoor facility, not the indoor facility. So we had to do it was funny, it was about 40 degrees. Junior Sale was part of that, and Amar Lathan, a couple other guys. It was like 15 or 20 of us, and we're all huddling up together, close together, before we do a drill. So somebody had to go run to 40. There'd be one person run to 40, and then everybody else all hugged up together, trying to stay warm. Then that person run, then the next person come, and the person who ran would come back and get into the pile and stay warm. And I on grass, I ran a 4.5 flat on grass that day in 40-degree weather. So, but to answer your question, I wasn't always known as a speedster. I had good speed, but I think I prided myself on, and the guy I learned from named Don North, who was a longtime great coach out of Long Beach Poly, was footwork. I had really, he honed in on my footwork, balance, technique, learned angles, how to get to point A to point B at the best angle, the best quickest way to get to point A to point B in the best angle. He really honed me in on that, taught me on that, so that no wasted steps, no wasted motions, get to where you need to, read the cutback lanes. So different things like that played a big part and helped me. It made me look a lot faster than I really was.
Nice,
Mm.
nice.
Wow, that's awesome. I can listen to this stuff all day, man. I really can. I
Definitely.
can listen to this all day.
It is an absolute honor to be sitting here just having a conversation with you.
Yes, true
What
blessing.
what I want to ask you, well, before I ask you the question, I just want to highlight your incredible rookie season. You were defensive rookie of the year. You were second team All Pro. You were Pro Bowler, and then you led the NFL in interceptions your rookie year.
And made all Madden team. The real cool
Yeah.
thing, I made
All,
all Madden.
Yeah,
all that, yeah.
yeah.
So my question is, what was most challenging? So the two-part question: what's most challenging? Adjusting from college to the pros, or living up to your rookie campaign going into your second year?
Oh, that's really a great question. I don't know the second question. I'll start with the first one. It it was. Don't get me wrong. It was a. I remember going through mini camps and a little bit of training camp, most especially mini camp at the time, going through in practice. And when I was done coming back home, wondering, wow, how can I, I was one of the faster guys in and around, but mentally was not moving as fast as I normally thought I could. The game was a lot faster. It was a lot mentally faster. So guys who weren't maybe as athletic or quick as I was were moving way faster than I was. So there was some emotional, discouraging moments after going through minicamp, where I came home back to California and was wondering, man, can I compete with these guys? Everybody's just moving so much faster, and it, obviously like anything else, you just stay with it, and just learn the scheme, learn the defense, learn what was going on, prepare yourself. Came home, got better, got prepared myself, and once I got inserted in the starting lineup, then everything kind of started clicking a little bit faster for me. So I was better. So I was better prepared. So I understood that that part. So I was able to the game the things as I learned and understood the defenses more. I got faster mentally because I was able to process everything so much faster. So I got faster, even though it seemed like maybe did I play fast? I played faster because mentally I was able to process everything faster. Where when I first got there during the first minicamp, I was in the deep end and was just trying to tread water a little bit. But once I mentally got to understand, and then help from players, other players, it helped me a lot. And then your second question, give me it to again. The second part. The kind of difference between my first year and second year. It is, and this is a great question. I tell people this, and it always seemed kind of really hard to believe. As great a year I was fortunate to have my rookie year, I felt I played way better, much better my second year than my first year. And I only had 2 interceptions that year. I also had broke my wrist that year at the second game of the season. At the second game of the season, played with it the whole year. But the reason why I felt I played better, just in general, is I made less mistakes from a grading standpoint because I understood the game more. I understood what I need to do more. So people always ask me about my rookie year, what do you 10 interceptions, what do you remember? Like the Washington game, I remember because 3 interceptions, you don't get that every day. But a lot of I don't remember because I was just in a funk. I was just rookie year was such a funk for me, and I was just trying to get through every day and be a team player. Where the second year, everything slowed down a little bit more. Like I said, I made so much less mistakes than I did that my first year as a player. That I felt I played a lot better. Even though now, again, the 10 interceptions was a blessing and a curse, because it was a blessing because you don't see that every year. The curse was everybody think you should get that every year, and that's just not the reality.
Yeah.
I
I remember that.
trying to get you back on track, the line of progression. Was it always in the cards for you at Mark Carrier to play college ball at the University of South Carolina, California?
Hey, don't ever make that mistake again. That's your one for the day. It's you know what's funny again, and I kind of tell this to a lot of the kids that I get to work with at Loyola Academy, Go Ramblers. That part of the reason I went to I didn't go to USC to play pro ball. My goal wasn't to be a pro player. It really wasn't. Right. It was a situation where. Growing up where I grew up, I knew that the best way for me to better myself, help better my family, was to get a college education.
Yeah,
looking up playing football was going to allow me to I was good enough to get a college scholarship that was going to allow me to get an education. I didn't think about playing. Probably I didn't really have a strong thought about playing pro ball. Probably not until after my second year, going into my third year of college sports. But my goal was, I wanted to be a fireman. I swear to God, my goal when I wanted to get a college education, but I wanted to go to school and come out and be a fireman. That's what I wanted to do. I had no admiration of playing pro ball. I wanted to get a chance to better myself. I didn't want to be a statistic that we all know and heard of over the years of black men, coming out of neighborhoods. I didn't want to be part of that. I wanted to be an example of what to do and how to get better and help other people do the same thing. So my goal at the time was to go and go to college, get an education, and be a fireman. It's just unfortunate that pro football thing got in the way.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. My very first field trip, when I was a little kid, we traveled down over to the Coliseum, and my eyes got like this big. It was crazy. And we pull up. I was ready for guys to come out with like swords and big old like shield, protection, big old chest, and plate and everything, and the helmet and all that. And my imagination was running wild, man. And they're like, "Oh, big boy, this is where they play football at," And
yeah.
As soon as that happened, I started watching USC football because football really wasn't on my radar. And then I started watching the Chargers. And then when I came back from the Middle East, fast forward, when I came back from the Middle East, I found myself a union job out here in California or in Chicago area. And that's when I became a Bears fan, because I'm like, I ain't going to be watching no Charger games out here, I mean, I would, but it wouldn't be, home games. So, but man, I tell you what, watching you guys, you especially, playing you on Tecmo Bowl, and
I try to tell my kids that I was the man on Tecmo Bowl, of course.
Man.
Yeah.
27-year-old son, 28-year-old son is like, "What's Tecmo Bowl, Dad?"
Such a shame. Don't know what he missing.
Yeah.
Well, that's something I didn't know. That's the benefit of being on this show. For the people that's tuning in, you get to find nice nuggets like that. Little hidden things like that. I would have never known about the firefighter, unless you told me.
Well, the other good little nugget that a lot of people find out, especially at the school I work at, is that I actually committed to Notre Dame first before, not USC.
Oh,
wow!
I bet the USC happy.
I ended up changing. Here's a funny story, and this is the honest God truth. And my mom, who's here, can verify the story. It was late because most everybody's trips at the time, the way things are totally different now, were all in January. So my fourth trip in the fourth week in January was to Notre Dame. South Bend. Really enjoyed it. Had a great time. Loved it. Lou Holtz. It was, I think, Lou's second year. Came to the house. Impressed my mom and all that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to Notre Dame. I told him I'm going to come to Notre Dame. And then I don't know, a couple weeks. I didn't really tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody. But somehow, the night before signing was always on a Wednesday in February. That first Wednesday in February, the night before signing, it was Thursday. So this is obviously showing my age. This is way before cell phones. We get a call at my mom, and my mom gets a call, and it's a guy named Dennis Thurman, great USC Trojan. Dennis Thurman, now one of Deion Sanders' right-hand man up at Colorado.
Yeah.
A call, and I don't know how. He still doesn't tell me today. He found out that I had somehow committed to Notre Dame, and so instead of trying, lobbying to try to ask me why you doing blah blah, I kid you not. This is a true story. I'm not exaggerating. I probably was on the phone with him minimum 30 minutes. And he just literally just berated me. I mean, talked about me like I stole money from him, that I owed him money. I mean, just talk about me like a dog. Why would I do this, blah, blah. I mean, just killing me on the phone finally to a point, and I barely said maybe 2 words. And it's again, true story. And I finally said, hey, if I change my mind and said I'm going to go USC, can I get off the phone? He's like, yes. Okay, I'm going to USC. True story. True story. Not exaggerated.
Wow.
Oh man, we gotta get Dennis on the phone. We gotta get Dennis on the show.
Let's get him on the show.
That's honest to God, true story.
That is awesome.
I don't know. I still don't know how he found my mom's phone number. And
right, that is crazy.
That is so cool.
I mean, just talk to me, dog, cuss me. Until I finally just said, okay, if I go to SC, can I get off the phone? Yes, click. I'm off.
Well, Notre Dame, now you know why you didn't get them.
Yeah, that's right. My Notre
right?
Dame friends still get on me about it.
Oh man, that's an awesome story. But hey, it worked full circle. You wanted to go to Notre Dame, but you wanted to go to the Bears anyway. So there you go. Still wound up in the Midwest. It's all good.
Yep.
I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
So I had a quick question for you. So you were everybody's, you were everybody's All-American, except for Notre Dame. I bet you.
Yeah.
And you ultimately became a member of USC's Hall of Fame class in 2006. 2006, yes. And so what allowed you to take your game to such an elite level to get to that point from high school to the pro, to college and then to the pros? So what was it, that internal fire that got it going to get you to that point?
Well, part of it was how good did I want to. My goal, for me, this is how it's not necessarily the goal of just being the best. Everybody, and that's how everybody want to do it. I want to be the best. My goal when I was training, when I was at Poly, I wanted to be considered one of the best to come out of Poly. That was my goal. And I knew working with people what that took. Then going to USC, Ronnie Lott, Dennis Smith, Joey Browner, Tim McDonald. I mean, Dennis Thurman. I mean, just great players. My always goal was just wanted to be part of the conversation with that group. I just wanted my name associated with that group. And then I always learned the guys before me, what did they do? How did they do it? How did they prepare themselves? What did they do? How did they train? I wanted to follow those footsteps. I wanted to do how they did it, and even try to do it better. But that was what how I pushed myself to do, was try to be equal, try to get myself at least equal to the guys who were there before me, who set the tone, who set the stage before me. And then let those guys who I considered the best judge me and put me in that category with them. Because my thing is, your peers are you're your individual, you're your worst critic. That's a given. But to be considered great, the guys who are considered great, I wanted them I held them at the highest regards. And if they came, the best thing I could ever hear from those guys is when Ronnie or Dennis or Timmy or Dennis or Tim McDonald, when those guys would come to me and say, Mark, I like your game. You represent us well. That to me is the highest compliment I could get. Wow. And that's when I knew I had made it. Same thing in the pros with Ronnie and Sean Gale or Mike Singletary, Richard, guys like that, when they saw me as an equal with them, then I know I was making it, because guys who I considered great players, Hall of Fame players, were telling me I was good enough to play with them or equal them, then I knew I was where I needed to be.
Awesome. Wow. Awesome. So, Mark, I know you spent a lot of time, majority of your career with the Chicago Bears, and then had to stop at Detroit, had to stop at Washington before you eventually, hung up the helmet and, moved on, to what you're doing now. I know right now in the state of Chicago Bears fandom, we're trying to build a winner. From your experience, what are some of the key factors that the Chicago Bears need to implement within their locker room to build a winning culture? Because I know we had some recent success in 2018, and we've been kind of trying to find our footing, these past few years, but still haven't really gotten there. So in your opinion, what are some of the things that the Chicago Bears need to do just to kind of start building that winning culture so we can have sustained success and not just have success for 1 year?
Besides cloning you,
what I've learned over the years and how I see things, and coaching in the NFL for 10 years and being part of other programs and seeing even like at USC and you start great. You need a great quarterback, no question. You need a playmaker. But what's the foundation? And you look back at you look at the great Bears. You look at just at the Kansas City, who just won the Super Bowl this year. Or so, if you look at, especially like the Chicago 85 team is considered arguably one of the greatest NFL teams ever to play in NFL sports or in even pro sports. What they had, their foundation was their offense and defensive fronts were dominant.
Yeah,
they can hide. Now you obviously need a quarterback. You need skilled players, playmakers. But if you've got a solid, really good core offense and defensive line, you can cover some sins. But if you don't have that, you got problems. But you get that foundation set. You get that D line and offensive line, even the linebackers a little bit. You build that and get that solid. Then you can start putting pieces together to help you and be a better championship style team. So my thing was, and I've learned, is make sure your foundation. What's your foundation? What's your goal? Running the ball, stopping the run. Now, no one really does that as much, but it's still the foundation. Hey, can we run the ball when we need to get a short yardage? And can we stop the team from running the ball when they need to get short yardage? You get that set. Then you start filling obviously you get a playmaker quarterback. The Mahomes and Brady's and Manning, they come and go. They don't come and go. Those are rare. Yeah. But you can get quarterbacks that can still be pretty good, that can win you a lot of games in this league, as we've seen. If you hit on a once in a lifetime quarterback, now you're already ahead of the game. But if you don't have those lines, that offense defensive line set, you're gonna you can only get so far. You've got to be able to sustain. One of the biggest plays in the NFL game this past year was that Chris Jones play on that third down in overtime. If he doesn't do that, there's two guys open, but because he gets the pressure that has the quarterback, Purdy has to throw the ball away. It changed. That allowed them to Kansas City to get the ball and march it down the field and win the game. But that play there, even though he didn't sack him, didn't touch the quarterback, that play there was a huge, huge play in the game that made a big difference, that allowed their team to go down and win the game.
Yeah,
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it's always in the trenches.
Yep.
The big boys in the middle,
Yeah, it doesn't get a lot of notoriety because that's how it is, because scoring and throwing touchdowns and stuff. But when your line is is when you got a solid offensive line, you're going to win a lot. You're going to, obviously, if you get a great quarterback, you're going to win a lot of games, but you need that line, those two lines, very solid.
Agreed.
I hope Ryan Poles, I hope you're listening.
Come on,
give him free advice. You know what I'm saying?
Evidence is there.
You give him free advice, Mr. Poles. I mean,
Right.
I know you got your people checking the show out. Come on, listen. Come on, bro. All right.
All right.
Sorry, Q.
My question, Mr. Carrier. In today's game, you really can't tag someone over the middle like you guys could back in your day. Now, as far as when you were playing, what was the most challenging aspect of playing the safety position?
Ooh, gosh. That's a great question. What was the most challenging for me was being in the right spot, making sure Sean Gale, who I love to death, who taught me a lot about the game, was the other safety. Yes. I learned the playbook very well. I learned the playbook. I knew it. I could read off everything that was in that playbook very well. And then Sean and Singletary had a lot of say so in this too. And then Sean's like, all right, good. Now but you got to be ready to evolve, Mark, as the play is happening. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, open that playbook. I opened the playbook. And you started reading the coverage. Like this, covers this, blah, blah, blah. What are those X's and O's not doing? They said, what do you mean? Are they moving? No. There's the difference. Those X's and O's that we got to go play against, they move, and they move fast. So we got to be able to make adjustments on the fly sometimes and be able to move with that, because what you learned it from a literal standpoint. Now you got to go figure it out as plays happen and evolve at a fast rate. You got to be able to move with it. You got to be able to adjust on the fly. Do that. The fifth wheel stuff, that's easy. There's guys always going to be faster, bigger, stronger than you. But from a schematic standpoint, there's things you can do to help yourself. If you can anticipate knowing, hey, from a coverage standpoint and a scheme of studying the other opponent, what you can do, where you can anticipate, put yourself so you don't get beat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, I just got a call or a text from one of your old teammates because I was telling him I was so excited. He knows I'm a USC fan, and he texted me back today, Dan Hampton. He said he loved you to death because you'd give him your beer on the planes.
Well, it was so funny because, again, I'm a rookie. I'm getting on. This is how times have changed, and for obvious reasons. You get on a plane, especially after a game, not before a game, obviously. You get on a plane, and there'll be 2 beers sitting on your seat. And I'm thinking, what? Looking around, I'm like, how come there's a beer? Not one, but 2 beers on everybody's seat. And I'm thinking, like, how do you get beer on it? I didn't know they do that. And I was just 22 years old. I wasn't like, hey, give me your beer. Like, here you go, take it. I was trying to follow the rules. I'm thinking you can't drink on a plane. Like, yes, you can. I got another great story for those guys. This was probably late October. We're getting ready to go to practice, and it was Chicago, maybe 60 degrees at that time, maybe high 50s. Me from a Southern Cal guy, it might as well be 30 degrees.
That's cold.
Yeah. So we're going at the old Lake Forest training facility, practice facility. You come out and you walk up. So I come out and I walk up, and I've got everything this is a walkthrough practice part. I got everything in my locker I got on for this walkthrough. I'm multiple shirts, sweatshirt, hoodies, sweatpants, jersey, anything I could have to go deal with. And as I'm walking up, I see Hamp, Dent, McMichael, William Perry, all those guys are looking at me as I'm walking to the practice, and they're looking at me, and I can see them like, oh, what now? What are they going to do to me now? How are they going to test me now? Get you ready, Mark. And they tell me, hey, Rook, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, what are you guys talking about? What? Why you got all those clothes on? What do you mean what I got? What is to you guys? Hey, take your little skinny little ass right now downstairs and take all those clothes off, or we'll take them off for you. I'm like, what the hell? I'm trying to be a tough guy. I'm from the West Side, LBC.
Let's go.
I was like, hey, if you don't go, we're gonna take it off you right now. So I'm like, all right, screw you guys. So finally, I go and come back, and I'm still mad. I got an attitude, and Singletary, calls me over the side. So Mike always called me young man. So Mike, comes and tells me, Mark, do you know why they were doing that? I said, Mike, they're trying to punk me. I ain't gonna let them punk me. It's like, Mark, that wasn't what it was about. They weren't trying to punk you just to intimidate you. They were worried that if you in 50-some degree weather are worried about trying to stay warm, when we go to Green Bay and play in December, are you going to be worried about doing your job, or are you going to be worried about staying warm? They're all trying to make you understand you can't be worried about trying to stay warm while playing. Because I used to do all the checks. They need you to do your job, and if you're going to trying to be worried about being warm when it's 0 degrees outside, how are you going to be able to do your job? That's what that was all about. That was a life lesson for me, where I understood what that group was all about. They was all about trust. Can they depend on you? Am I reliable, or am I going to be worried about trying to stay warm?
Say it again for all the Bears players that's in the locker room that can't hear it. Come on, say it again, preach.
Let them know.
They need that in their soul again. There's something missing there in that locker room.
Well, again, remember, I was only 185, 90 pounds from Southern California. I was freezing my ass off, but I got them. I got the point. Point taken.
Oh,
Nice,
man.
Nice.
Love the honesty. I love it. Love it.
Nowadays, I wear everything because I don't get paid to be a tough guy anymore. I can dress how I want.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
I'm a Muslim, man. I was here when our kids were
Still
playing.
tough to us, sir. You're still tough to us.
Oh, yeah. Definitely still tough, bro.
So now that the Pac-12 is no longer, going to be a conference anymore, it was the Pac-10 when you were there.
Correct.
What is your best memory that you have playing in the Pac-10?
Oh, I mean, I love playing. I mean, in my 3 years, I played 3. I was at school for 4, redshirted 1 year, and played for 3. I was 2-0 against Troy Aikman at UCLA. Now, and I always throw that in his face. Haven't seen him in a while, but I remember throwing that in his face. But then he wants to go and throw these Super Bowl rings in my face, like that's a big deal. But I was my time against. Now I was 0 for 3 against Notre Dame. They remind me of that too. But against Troy Aikman and UCLA, who was a loaded team, Norton and Gaston, they had a good. I was 2-0, and even had a sack against Troy Aikman in college. I had 1 sack. It was against Troy Aikman. So
awesome.
Let's go. Thank you.
Was always it was big. We beat I never lost to Troy Aikman at UCLA.
Dan cannot stand Troy. I interviewed him up in Illinois at Worth Stadium Club, and he had a couple stories about Troy. Not a big fan. Not a big fan.
He was cool with me. Yeah,
he liked the stats that he had against him, but he wasn't a big fan of most quarterbacks, anyways. No, from what I gathered.
But I'm sure a lot of people weren't quarterbacks were a fan of Dan either. So
right, come on, come on now.
I just got a text from a friend of mine.
I looked at his hands. I'm like, oh my god, these freaking things are the size of a bear, man.
Yeah.
I just got a text from a friend of mine he went to USC. He's a class of 2003. He just said thank you very much. He's very happy. He's giving me a bunch of smiley faces, and then so yeah. He's not favorite, but he's definitely a USC fan, so he's definitely a big fan of yours. So he saying thank you. He definitely doesn't like the Cowboys. Does not like the Cowboys whatsoever.
No.
So he was definitely happy to hear that.
It's interesting how they're America's team and no one likes them.
Right.
Yeah. My team. I don't know. Look, they gave that moniker to themselves. America's team is not. You got to be blue collar. That's Chicago. Yeah. That's America's team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's America's team right here. All right.
Who was your toughest matchup?
Oh, it's a good question.
By far, like I said, everybody, you hear about the obvious guys during that time, the Jerry Rice of the world. To me, and his career was cut short. I still think he should be a Hall of Famer. Sterling Sharp was by far the best receiver. I played safety, so I never really had to cover per se the receivers. and there were some fast guys obviously there, but pound for pound for me, it's not even close. It was Sterling Sharp, one of the best players I ever played against. And
yes.
I say it all the time. I'll go to my grave saying he's, if not the best. I mean, I played against Chris Carter, who's a Hall of Famer, and he was great too. But Sterling could beat you. Sterling would beat you and smile at the same time. He would be your friend and still beat the crap out of you. And you'd be one of those guys you would hate him, but he would make you smile and happy. I mean, he'd be smiling at you and alive and trying to be your best friend at the same time.
Hey,
Man, that's some good stuff to hear that. I mean, so you said Sterling Sharp. I mean, I like both Sharp brothers, both him and Shannon.
Yeah.
One of my only wishes that never came true is that that Sterling decided not to when he was a free agent he could have went to the Bears. I'm just saying.
Hey,
that'd have been nice.
That would have been welcome arms. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He about the only Packer. Him and Donald Driver. I would be like, yeah, that'd be nice.
You got to throw Barry in there too. Now you got to throw Barry in there. How do you not throw Barry in there?
Oh yeah. Okay,
dude.
Oh yeah,
you got to throw Barry in there.
That's
I'm
okay bad about that.
I'm okay to be on Barry's highlight reel. Everybody who's on Barry's highlight reel can't be ashamed because. Hey, hey, at least you have the opportunity to be on the highlight reel with Barry.
Yeah.
My grandpa, he migrated to Pontiac, Michigan from Poland in the 50s. Diehard Detroit fan. He could not stand Scott Mitchell because he said Barry worked for his check and Scott's. And I mean, he said, bro, 3rd and 16, hand the ball
it's
up.
The truth, though.
I have a great Barry Sanders story
to run
too.
140 yards north and score the touchdown.
Yeah. I have a great Barry Sanders story. This is
oh yes.
All right, this is practice. I got to play 2 years with Barry. Great teammate. We're practicing. When Barry's one of those guys again. When he practiced, he didn't throw a lot of moves, but he would hit the hole and run for 50, 60 yards every play he got the ball. Every play he would hit it, run, sprint for about 50 plus yards, jog back, hit the hole, throw 1 or 2 moves, sprint 50 yards, jog back. I mean, that's just how type of great practice player he was. But one day, this is early in maybe middle of training camp. So we had all the rookies. So Barry again did his thing, hit the hole, made a cut, and was sprinting down the sideline. Well, this one player who's a rookie, all of a sudden making a beehive run right at Barry. He's running, and he doesn't hit him, but he kind of, we call it flyby. He kind of flies and run by him, and Barry has to kind of stutter and kind of lost his balance a little bit, but got his game, kept going. And all of a sudden, you see a bunch of players go walk over to this young player, just start walking over, and they're looking at him, and it ain't a fun-looking walk. They're not in good mood. They go over to him, and they grab this kid, and they start ripping him and say, hey, man, don't you ever do that again in front of Barry Sanders. Do you understand? That's our goddamn meat, our money, man.
That's everything.
But wait a minute, but that's not the funny part.
Oh, man.
Guess who it was that walked over there to him? These guys who walked over? It was all D linemen. It was all the defense.
Wow. That is funny.
It was all defensive guys who walked over to this fellow young defensive player and told him, better not ever see you do that again or we will beat the living crap out of you. It was all the defensive guys.
Hey, protect your people.
They knew where their money was, their bed.
Exactly. Come on now.
They say, okay, you hit the quarterback in the red shirt. He'd be out. Just help him up.
Yeah.
Don't touch Barry.
Hey, I don't know if anybody would have done that except for the coach who would have hit Scott Mitchell. But you go hit Barry, you would have had the whole team jumping. I swear to God. That's an honest to God truth. It was all the D line. Walked over to this kid and told him, don't you ever do that. Boy, I better never see you do that again to that boy. That's our meal tickets. Don't you ever. That was a true story.
Real. That's real story, right there.
It's true.
Let's go.
That is awesome. That's an awesome story.
Everybody, we got 100 in the chat, so please hit that like and subscribe button on our YouTube channel.
Got 100 in the chat. What's up? Thank you, everybody. Like and subscribe. We love you all. We appreciate it. Gives the good vibes. You know what I'm saying? Helps us keep bringing in awesome guests like Mr. Mark Carrier here himself. We
They
appreciate
love
you
you,
guys
Mark.
in the chat. Love you guys. Thank you. Love you for it. So I'm not sure if you're really, in tune with most of the current NFL guys that's in the NFL at the moment. But are there any guys that you think of right now that kind of remind you of yourself at the moment that are currently playing?
I like that.
Ooh, gosh. Wow. That's it. Hey.
Here's
good
everybody
question because ain't that many.
everybody's so much bigger, stronger, and faster than I am. So it's just
that's a tough question
yeah, it
because
is a tough
out of
question
104
I don't
years,
get a chance to see the total NFL, all these players. But
yeah.
I can't think of it'd be easy for me to say Patrick Mahomes, but that's not real. But it'll be easy.
Sidearm,
My man.
If you're gonna go big, right?
Yeah.
Say,
Right.
Mahomes and I, even though I wasn't a quarterback, but I can see the semblance in our game.
Oh, there is one guy that has some of your game. He needs better hands. I hope he can hear me. He's got to work on that jug machine a little bit more. And that's Jaquan Brisker.
Yeah.
I love, so the one thing I like about him is the way he hits.
Yeah.
Where he tackled that you both great form tacklers. That's what I like about it. When you hit somebody, they don't move. They go down. Ain't no slipping away. Ain't no getting extra yards. You get hit by Mark Carrier, you get hit by Brisker, you get hit where you at. You stay down. You go backwards. He hasn't worked on, he's got to work on the interceptions. He dropped a couple of them. We'll put on some tape. We'll just throw a bunch of highlight tapes of you where you did not drop because you did not drop many that win your vicinity. So it is what it is. He got.
Hey guys, I got breaking news from Jay Glazer. I don't know if this is 100% accurate or not, Bobby. I don't know if you saw this, but
definitely seen it.
Scoopage. Bears have traded for Keenan Allen, sending Chargers a 4th rounder for Keenan Allen.
Oh man, that's dope.
I love
That's
it.
real good. Oh, that's real good.
I love it.
We got a
Real
receiver,
good.
baby.
Dude, I'm telling you, Mark Carrier brought this guy to Chicago.
Breaking news on the we just broke news on our show today on Thursday night. Matt,
Keenan
my
sitting
goodness,
back. He's like,
nice.
man, Chicago sounds good, bro.
Yes,
absolutely.
We need to have you on our show more often. You must be a good luck charm.
Absolutely.
You're a good luck charm, my friend. That's awesome. Oh,
that's like the first guy I'm excited about. Seriously, Bobby. We gotta go get these guys. We gotta go get these service players. We gotta get 53. But this is a good for me.
That's the buzz I want to hear.
I've been good with the moves that Ryan Poles has made this offseason. I don't think that you have to go out and spend a crazy amount of money to build a solid team. I just think that you got to get guys that fit the system. I mean, Mark, what you think? You want to obviously you need your star players, but you also need some depth in certain areas, and you need your guys that are seasoned vets and guys that can hold it down. What are your whole thoughts on kind of building that team?
Obviously you need quality players. I mean, they want Ryan Poles and assistant GM, known GM, the Paul's great stuff. So I know has top forecast. They can over the last 3 years. They needed to replenish the talent. They were talent over the last 3 years.
Is that me or him?
They lost. They lost some picks. They lost some players. They needed to upgrade the talent.
There you go.
Down the team. There's no question about that, and you can see them piece by piece trying to do that. They're trying to bring the team by more players, good, well-known quality players to his team, trying to rebuild that foundation again. And obviously Keenan, talk about 50-50 ball. There's not. I don't know. There's another player who has better. Maybe Robinson back in a couple of years ago, but Keenan Allen on 50-50 ball was, he was going to get it.
So, Mark, can we add on to this? If you was Ryan Poles, what would be your game plan for the first overall pick this season?
Stole my
Come
question.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
You beat me to the question about it.
What little again, and this is again, we could talk about this separately. Obviously, you got to make a decision on the quarterback. That's a separate discussion. But to me, I think the best player in the draft is the receiver from Ohio State, Harrison. I think he's a flat out stud.
Yes,
absolute stud.
Yes,
I think if I somehow, again, the quarterback is one thing, you got to get that figured out. Obviously, you got to get that. But if somehow I'm trying to find a way to get him, I'm trying to get if I'm keeping Fields, I'm keeping a pick, and I'm drafting Harrison at 1. Now, people are saying you can't draft a receiver at 1. The hell I can't.
Right.
If he's the best player on your board, everybody has boards. If he's the best player on your board, do you trust your board? Don't give me, well, you really can't draft a receiver number 1. Well, then why do you got him number 1? If he's not number 1 on your board, then put him where you believe you in, or don't. Then your board, trust your board. If your board has him as the number 1 guy in the draft, you take him. You take him off the board because that's what your board. If you trust the people around you, trust the people you're with, doing their due diligence. If everybody's seen him and everybody believes he's the best player on the board, you take him, which I would because I think he's the best player in the draft. Even though I haven't seen or studied all these guys, I go get that kid right now because he's a difference. To me, he's a difference maker. He's still, granted, you got to figure out the quarterback. I get that. Nobody knows. I understand that. But who's the best player on the board? That kid is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I've been,
but it's
like I've been the only person on the island with that one.
Yeah,
I think he's literally the best player in this whole draft. And
like I said, and I've been in 3 different draft rooms over the years, and everybody has their boards, and then you do a thing just on offense, you do a thing on defense where you 1 to 32, you rank from 1 to 32, you rank the players, and then that's how when the draft comes, you start picking offense, you rank 1 to 32 on offense, 1 to 32 on defense. Then you go 1 to 64. All right, rank them. How do you have them? And if that's your board and you trust your people, when the draft goes, that's how you start. That's how you draft, and that's how you live with it. But if you're questioning, guessing it, then what are we doing? Why are you trusting this?
Yeah, and I honestly think this is an awesome move because it won't matter who the quarterback is. You get a guy who's established with the wide receivers coach in Chris Beatty. So this is awesome. A guy who's going to understand the routes, who's going to understand the Waldron system, at least how things are going to be done. So this is awesome. You got DJ Moore and now Keenan Allen both work with Chris Beatty.
Ooh, that's nasty.
Understand the system.
That's a nice combination. That's a nice
2 number 1s. And this is the best. He's the better option of who I didn't think was available because I wanted Mike Evans, but this is a better option because he's more he understands the system. So this is going to be awesome. I'm too excited.
Settle down.
I'm trying, my brother. I'm trying. I almost jumped out my seat. I'm too excited.
We have a question from my man Rodney from the chat. He said, "Which player that you look forward to hitting the most, just knocking them out?"
I didn't get great shots on him, but if I did, it was Chris Carter. I wanted to get his.
Let's go.
He laid me out one time on a peel black block, and just got me good. And I want and he was a great player, and I got along with Chris great, but he knocked the crap out of me in one play, and for the couple of years I played against him, I was always looking to go at him and get him, and a couple of times I could have got him, I would have got fined for if I would have did it, so I didn't do it, but there's some chances where I wanted to just say, you know what, I'm taking one for the team. I'm going to go get him this time. But
I love it.
But I love to play against him because he was competitive. Chris was not just great receiver with great hands. He was a really good thinking player. He made you he knew your coverages, knew how you ran them, and so you had to really play with him, play a chess game with him.
And a follow-up question: who talked smack to you the most on the field? Any particular player?
Yes.
Oh gosh, Chris, like I said, he talked a little bit. He talked a good game. I'm trying to think. Didn't have many guys in the NFC that we played against that used to talk a lot. That's a good. You know what? I'm gonna have to think about that one because there wasn't many who talked a lot. I mean, they let their game, not like today and age where you got someone, because you could go get people. You know, they were just starting to change the game when I was going in my career. You can go knock the crap out of a player if he's talking crap. So, not many guys with a bunch of crap talkers. They would get in your face and everything. Now they didn't back down, but they would get after you too.
Okay.
Yeah. You got a question, BJ?
I do. So, what is your personal all-time favorite interception that you ever had, whether it's the pros or college?
I have two. In college, it was again against UCLA. It was 87. We were playing against UCLA. They were loaded. They had like I said, they had everybody. Aikman, Norton, Lake, Flipper Anderson, Gaston Green, Chris Richards. They were just Henry. I mean, just draft picks, NFL players, and they were favored to win the game. And we were coming back in the second half, and Aikman overthrew this player. We got pressure on him, and he overthrew the ball, and I was able to pick it off, and I started running. And the rule of thumb was, hey, once you get an interception, always get to your sideline. So I picked the ball, and I'm running to the sideline, and I'm just running. I'm just waiting for someone, to come for me, and I was going to go out of bounds. Then all of a sudden, someone kind of flashed me. One of my own players, I think, flashed me. So I cut in. Next thing I know, I make the cut, and there's like nothing but grass in front of me. So I keep running, and I end up scoring a touchdown. But it did. Unfortunately, the interception stayed, but the return got called back.
Wow.
There was some phantom block that we're still trying today. In 1987, look it up, a UCLA SC game at the Coliseum. We're still trying to find out who blocked it away, so I never saw it. But the very next play or two, we ended up scoring and winning the game like 16 to 10 or something later in that game. But it was really a big turning point in that game for us. And then in the pros, my only touchdown I ever had was against Green Bay Packers and Brett Favre at the Coliseum.
Isn't that the best way to do it?
That sticks out in my head.
I was waiting for you to bring that one up. Because
it was the only time I ever scored a touchdown, and it was against the Packers and against Brett Favre, and that made me. That was exciting for me.
Okay, I got a quick question for you. So, and this pertains to the current Bears, and speaking of their defense at the moment, how good do you think the Bears can be? With this defense, how much better you think the surging defense can get? And what areas do you want to see them improve in more?
Well, like I said, I think they finished top 5 in defense. They did a really. Teams weren't giving up points left and right. They did a nice job when they brought what's the kid?
Montez
Sweat. When they brought Sweat, and you saw just in that, and he only got a couple sacks, but he changed the whole outcome of that team because now offenses had to deal with him and open the doors for other guys to show up. I think. Obviously, Johnson, getting him signed was a big deal. They signed a couple of safeties who are quality safeties. I mean, this defense can still always get better because if you can't put pressure on the quarterback, everybody always talk about sacks. Sacks doesn't mean as much as they mean a lot. but it's not about the sacks. It's about the pressure. It's about making quarterbacks uncomfortable. Can you consistently disrupt the quarterback's rhythm and timing, stuff to run, and don't give up big plays? If you could do that defensively, you're always going to put yourself in a situation to win games. Always. You're going to have a chance to win games. It's hard with the way the rules are, the way the game is played now. It's hard to just flat out shut teams out. You just can't. It's just almost the NFL has been built where they don't ever see that. But there's ways you can do things and be disruptive, make the quarterback. My big thing I see now a lot of times, and I remember I learned a lot from Rex Ryan coaching under him, was when going against quarterbacks is, especially in this day and age with the quarterbacks, the mobility of quarterbacks, is we want to always make quarterbacks throw out. Now, compared to playing against Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, we wanted to get them off their stoop. So you needed inside pressure. But the way quarterbacks are today, I want to move them. I want to keep them in the pocket and make them throw out of the pocket with bodies in their face. Because the way that some of these quarterbacks are now and the way the offenses are with the mobility, they create opportunities. And being in the back end, when you got quarterbacks who can scramble, make things happen with their legs, extend plays, man, that just puts a lot of pressure on your defense, and especially on the back end. But make a Justin Fields, make him see if he can beat you throwing it out of that pocket. If he can beat you out there, you tip your hat to him and say you found a way. But keep him, close that pocket around him. Make all these quarterbacks in this day and age, make them throw from a well, make them throw with that, get that surge in front of that quarterback and keep him in that pocket. So it makes it harder for him to see how type of completion, what type of accuracy does he have.
So real quick, just a quick follow. So do you think it's easier to game plan for the pocket quarterbacks or the mobile quarterbacks?
Well, again, I had to defend, and as a coach, we had to defend against Peyton Manning and Brady, and they were as good as quarterbacks, obviously best that ever played a game, and they were obviously pocket. They weren't, but don't get me wrong. I mean, the part that made them so good was how they got rid of the ball so quick. That wasn't the fact they weren't throwing from the pocket, but if they can get on timing. But with mobility quarterbacks now, the way the offenses, the way teams, the way the game is governed now, it's when you got guys who can run, extend plays, man, that just drives, as a back end, that just makes you so frustrated that you get on third down, you think you're getting off the field, and then you got to go play 4 more downs because the quarterback was able to scramble and continue. That's why you don't see teams blitzing that much anymore like they used to, because they're so afraid of a quarterback getting out of that pocket and scrambling to put you back in in jeopardy. That you don't see it. That's why you can get pressure with 4, maybe 5. You're ahead of the game. But you don't see teams just saying, we're just going to blitz you because you leave your back end vulnerable. So my thing is keep him in the pocket, make him throw out of the well, but make him throw on, not on rhythm, throw him off timing. That's it. If you can get that, man, you're going to have a chance to win. You're going to disrupt a lot of timing.
Mark, I want to talk about your vocation really quick. You're changing lives and setting some of Chicagoland's best and brightest young people on a sure path for success as Associate Athletic Director at Loyola Academy. What does this work mean to you personally for you?
Oh, it's very satisfying. I have 2 great kids who are now who played high school and college sports who are now graduating, doing good things at 28 and 26. So now, and I always like to feel like I always wanted to be a person to give back. People gave to me, sacrificed for me to get where I'm at. And that's just my honor to try the chance, the opportunity to do that with other kids. And now finished my 5th year at Loyola Academy. It's great. Great relationship with the kids. I've got to meet a lot of parents and be around a lot of kids and having talked with them. It's funny because it's the same way like with my kids a few years back when they were growing up. You hear that, oh, you play professional ball, yeah. but it doesn't register until they see something. They realize, like, oh, damn, you really did play ball. Yeah, I know it don't look like it, but I did.
Yeah.
So it's always, I know they look at me like, no, you didn't. Like, yeah, I know I did. I don't walk around with my uniform, my helmet, my jersey on, but yes, I did. But it's just so fun to have conversations with them and talk to them and see their goals and what they want to do, and then watch and see what are they doing to work to get to that point. And talk about it. And then when they come and ask me what my advice, what did you do, what wouldn't you do, and it's fun. It's just an opportunity that for me that I can speak and work with young student athletes, and hey, a little part. Now, obviously not the big part, but a little part in helping them mold where they want to get to. And shout out to our girls basketball team who just won the 4A state championship, 30-0. Go Red Lady Ramblers!
Big shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
And our boys team, football team, just last November won back-to-back state championship team. So I've been very fortunate enough to be around some great teams, lacrosse girls and boys, and at Loyola Academy. But the girls team, that was a really remarkable run that Coach Schonecker and our girls basketball team ran this year to win 38. No, I mean, you guys know you find a way to lose games easily, then you find a way to win games. They were 38-0, and nobody in the starting top 7 who played were over 5'10". So that just playing in the highest division. So just show you how good and how hard these girls work. It was fun to watch.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. Maybe they can give some of their secrets to the Bulls.
Hey, they won last night. I said they did win last night. They did win last night.
We got to take it for what it is. That's all I can say.
Yeah, you're right.
So quick question for you.
Yep.
Do you think it's more important for the Bears to focus on a DN or a 3 technique?
What's the second, DN or what? I'm sorry.
A tackle.
Offensive tackle or D tackle?
No, a defensive tackle. Sorry.
D tackle. For me, it's D tackle.
Okay.
Because someone like I said, you got someone who can help stop the run and push that pocket back. You'll find somebody who can put pressure on you to get to the quarterback on the outside. I mean, unless you're an elite defender or pass rusher, like a Khalil Mack or somebody. But Khalil Mack is only good when it only shows his greatness even more so when he's got someone in that middle pushing that paint. So for me, I'm going. I want my middle. I want my center, my 2 guards, my tackle, my nose guard, my linebacker. I want that solid. I want that to be as good as can be, because that foundation, that middle, if that middle is solid, then everything else on the outside will be even better.
Oof. But on the flip side, additional question to that: how do you feel about the left tackle that we have right now? Do you think that we need an upgrade there?
I think they need to upgrade the offensive line in general. I think, I just think they do. You got to be evaluate. You got to evaluate. But again, I'll start again. It's, hey, what's your center and guard? Are you center and guard? Is that middle solid? Let's get this. It used to be right. Your left tackle, the quarterback's blind side. I get that. With the mobility of quarterbacks now, there's some wiggle room. But if you can't get that push in that middle of that pocket, you get to keep that pocket clean from the middle. You'll be okay. You can figure out there's some things you can do to kind of help your left tackle slide, put a tight end over there, chip it back. But if you're getting that center or guard, somebody blown up, pushed back into the quarterback's lap, you're going to have a long day all the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Good stuff.
Yes, it is. Wow. Yeah, see, Brandon, you was right. You was right when you were. I remember you talking to me about this long ago. That got to build the middle. Got to build the middle. You're right.
Man. That's the one thing that I learned from doing all that work for Mongo. Everybody said 1 to 2 people, maybe even 3, had to count for Mongo in the middle. That way, Hampton and Dent took the bookends and took care of the outside.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like that's why left tackles are such a premium, because if you can handle those ends, but if you're getting pushed back in the middle, I mean, left tackles are still, when you do a pay spectrum, a quarterback, left tackle, right? That's why left tackle was up there. But if you could, but the way the game has changed now because we're so much more passing, boy, you better keep that middle better be solid where you got a center who can control things. I mean, you look at the Bears, early when they had Jay Hilgenberg. I mean, solid, and then Krupps with that the 2000s when they had their nice run going. I mean, there's a reason those teams were successful, and you look at the foundation. Who was the foundation? Where was that? That's why they were so good.
That's a good question, sir. That was a good question. That's a good question.
Go ahead, ask it, Piggy.
So we have a fan who wanted to know, Mr. Rodney Marshall. He says, if you have a chance to ask him if there's anyone you didn't look forward to or hated tackling besides Barry. So
Barry is pretty exclusive. I mean, yeah, Barry. Yeah, I hated tackling Barry. Barry, I was fortunate enough to play in like 103 or 5 games straight. And when I finally got knocked out of that streak, I was trying to tackle Barry. I ended up spraining my ankle. But
wow,
ouch.
Break your ankles.
Yeah, they talk about break your ankles. He damn near did. Who did you know what? Guys, I hated tackling because there wasn't like one specific. There was a lot of like O.J. Anderson, Barry Word.
Oh my God.
OJ.
I missed Bo. Thank God, Bo got hurt. Marcus. These guys, they weren't trying to miss. They weren't trying to juke you. They were going to try to run your over. And I was only $190 at best. So there was a lot of big power backs that I got to play against a lot in this league, and here I am, like I said, I wasn't 200 pounds. I'm like, oh crap, here we go. I got to make this tackle on this. Herschel Walker. I mean,
baby,
big bodies that you had to get them on the ground, man. So the backs that I played against were just big and strong. They weren't like blazing fast, but they weren't trying to outrun you either. They were trying to run you over, and they were successful at times too.
So in other words, they were the business decisions. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For sure.
A few of those.
Ooh, that's those earn that paycheck hits.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You're a better man than me.
Yeah.
Definitely had to come up and make those business decisions for sure. But
Yeah,
Mark, I wanted to kind of get back to your work at Loyola. Just kind of, just ask one more question in regards to that. I'm somebody that's a military veteran, did 6 years in the Air Force, and for the past 3 years, I've been
appreciate your service.
Thank you. And for the past 3 years, I've been, coaching flag football for the 5 and 6 year olds around in my community. So I believe in giving back. So for you, all your work that has been given to you, what's some of the best advice that you received that you're trying to pass on? Maybe some advice received from a teacher, a coach, a religious figure or something like that, that you're trying to pass on to these young students and these young student athletes that you've been working with for these past 2 years.
The best thing I can say is just be true to yourself. You got to be who you are. You got to be true to yourself. If you understand and believe in what you're saying and what you're doing, that it's going to be beneficial to these young kids as they go in life, then you need to be honest with yourself and be honest with them, because in the long run, that's all you can do. And if down the road, if they might not take it right then and there, but sooner or later, it'll kick in, and then they'll come back to you, and then they'll tell you, hey, thank you for what you said or what you did, blah, blah, believe in me. It finally kicked in, what you used to talk about that I didn't want to pay attention to. But the one thing as a person or as a coach, you got to make sure you're true to yourself, because once you're true to yourself, you'll be true to the kids, and the kids eventually appreciate that.
Definitely.
There's always a saying, I see people and they're always asking me, everything going okay? Or I haven't heard. I haven't heard anything about you. What's going on? I said, that's good, because if you haven't heard anything about me, then it means everything's going good. Because probably if you hear something, it's probably not going to be good, because that's the only thing people want to talk about. Not how good you're doing, it's how bad you're doing. So if you haven't heard anything, because people are still finding out that I've been back in Chicago now for 5 years. I'm like, I didn't know you've been back. I said, yeah, haven't heard anything. I'm like, that's a good thing, because it means I'm doing what I need to do and not getting in trouble, and putting that out there like that. So that's kind of my advice to when I tell kids. I'm like, I don't want to. If I have to hear things, and you hear about the guys who are knuckleheads or pros who are like to talk about. So there's the majority of the NFL are all good guys, but you don't hear about them, because that doesn't. No one wants to talk about that. That's not major headlines. But the majority of the NFL guys, unfortunately, the few bad apples kind of people think that's what it's all like, and it's not. Most of the guys in the NFL are really, really good guys, good family men, good people, and they, just want to be a good person in society.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, that was a great question, Bobby. Great question. Great question. Great answers. Obviously, thank you.
All right. My question is, it's like there's a lot of things going on in life. Very busy. What's the average day of life of Mr. Mark Carrier?
Oh, whatever day. Well, it's funny, because when I started working at Loyola, I have two beautiful kids, and they're now doing their own thing. Now that I work at Loyola, I have 1,500 kids I get to who are involved in sports. I get to be part of their lives now, and get to see them. So I mean, in the morning, I'm at work usually by 8:30, and I'm working. Like right now, I'm working on fall sports. When spring sports are already done, I'm working on scheduling for fall sports. So I'm doing some busy work during the day, and then after school, we have a secondary off-site facility that has fields and baseball field. That's kind of we call it the Hill. That's kind of like my second office, and I'm usually there monitoring games and make sure everybody's okay, everybody's doing what they need to do, and depending on the time of games, if we have games, I'm there to anywhere from 6 o'clock to sometimes 8 o'clock, depending on when the games start, and then come back home, have dinners, say hello to my wife, take the dog out, and then start the process all over again. And then sometimes Saturdays, fall season's not as bad, because I don't have many sports on Saturdays that I have to do, except for football. Winter sports, like I said, basketball, we have that. Every season's a different type of season for me, where I'm not as busy outside of the office as much in the fall, even though I help with football, but not necessarily coach it. Spring and winter, I'm helping around with basketball, monitoring those games. Fall, spring, I'm outdoors a lot more on the Hill doing things. So I'm always got something going on, keeping me busy, which is great. I always tell people, and it's the truth. My wife and I've been fortunate to be married to a beautiful woman for now 29 years. Born and raised here in Chicago. And I always tell people, my wife and our relationship was built on us not being together all the time. So it works well. The scary part, when I wasn't working for a while, that's when the relationship would button heads. So now, I see her. I say our relationship was built where we're not next to each other all the time. We get along way better that way.
My wife always tells me, distance makes the heart grow fond.
Yeah.
Well, prepare to get really fond, because it's football season, baby.
Yeah,
one last question.
My wife is currently in Southern Cal, in the desert, at the tennis event down there. Her and her tennis group went down there, and I've talked to her more, communicated with her more that she's been gone, and I do when she's here at work, and she's here, and we're in the same town. I'm like, oh, now you miss me. Okay.
And I just have one last quick question from me. How was it to play for the legendary Mike Ditka?
I played only 3 years with Coach Dick. It's the last 3. I was fortunate enough to help him get fired. That's my claim to fame for Coach. But he did draft me. He was one of the people that drafted me, gave me my chance. I didn't have a lot to deal with Coach. It just tells you the different times of the how locker rooms were. I mean, Coach Dick was good to me, was good to my family, but I didn't really have a lot of conversations or a lot to deal with them. The players are the ones who I had to deal with more than any of my player and my assistant coach, my position coach. But for people who I had to answer to more so than anybody was the players. I had to answer to Singletary. I had to answer to Sean Gale. I had to answer to Richard Dent, Hamp, Mike Michael, Hilgenberg. I mean, all these guys, those guys, I had to answer to them. And if I wasn't right, they were responsible for getting me right. Because if they didn't get me right, then Dick got involved and everybody lost. So, because at that time, there wasn't free agency. They just cut you. It's no money law. So I was one to deal with, I had more dealings with the players in per se on day-to-day things that I certainly did with Coach Dicker, but it was good to me.
Hey, Mark, as you know, well, you might not, but we did. I personally did a lot of work for Mongo, help raise money for his ALS. It cost like.
I got a Team Mongo T-shirt.
Yeah,
I bought a couple.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I helped raise over $15,000 at one function the day before they had the Bears alumni game. At Bridges Scoreboard, a few guys. BJ
was that September, right? That was September. Yeah,
yes, sir.
I went to the function that Saturday night, but I didn't make it. I couldn't make it to the game.
Okay. Yeah, BJ's father was there. Bottom right, BJ's father, Bruce Heron. He was in the building.
Tell Bruce I said hello.
I will.
He wants to be on the low with that, but I had to share because
Bruce is. I know Bruce is
Bruce
good
helping
too.
out.
Bruce, I said hello.
I sure will.
It was such a good time, and then through that, more money as it went on and helped out. Was able to work with a lot of guys in that. And one of my favorite things when we close the podcast, which we're about ready to do for you, because once again, thank you for being on our show and blessing us with your time. But can you give us your favorite Mongo story?
Who? Favorite Mongo story? Give me a second. Let me think here. Because I used to, because where I lived a little farther away. So for traffic, it was easier for me to leave later. So I used to hang out in the weight room with Steve, Singletary, William Perry. Those guys all used to, just lift weights. And I used to lift weights. Not like I was lifting weights with them, but I was there. Let's say that. One of the things I remember Steve used to have these little chihuahuas.
Yeah.
That he used to bring around.
Blue.
Those chihuahuas, man, they were mean as snakes. They didn't like anybody. They were nasty, man. You get up to them and Steve would have them growl at you and you're like ready to attack you. Little things. They weighed like 3 pounds, and that they were just he would have
big old
Peppy. I think one of them name was Peppy or something.
Yeah.
Steve come out of his dorm room and the damn dog would come right behind him. Like, where the hell is the dog? I never got dogs at training camp. Yeah, these dogs. It's like for a guy, a big, strappy, tough guy. He had the nerve to have these little ass Chihuahua dogs. Like, how's this dude got Chihuahua dogs? You would think you would have something like a pit bull or Rottweiler, German, something. Yeah, little mini Chihuahua dogs, and they were mean as snakes too, man. You wouldn't think them things would walk up on them and they start growling at you. I'm like, are you serious? Yeah, that was one of my things I always remember about Steve was them damn Chihuahua dogs.
Awesome.
I always thought it was Misty, but the more stories I hear, the more I think it's actually Mongo than Misty that likes the Chihuahuas.
Does he still have those damn Chihuahua dogs?
He's got Blue. He's got a new one called Blue.
Oh, yeah. I don't get it. Well, I got to understand that one.
Dude, they had a pet raccoon for a while. They're crazy.
Wow.
Pet raccoon.
All kinds of like weird. She was telling me some animals and stuff. Well, they're from Texas, so
Yeah.
they're wild.
Yeah, but Chihuahua, I'm like, what? He come walking by. I remember, man, them damn Chihuahua dogs. I mean, he treated them better than he treated me. God damn. He was like all sensitive with the dogs, but then he just slapped me around. Come on, get this. You're sorry, Rook. Go get that.
Sorry, Rook.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable how he cared for those damn Chihuahua dogs more than he cared for everybody else.
Mr. Carrier, thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
I really
Thank you
appreciate
guys
it.
for
It's
having
been
me.
a blessing
Thank
and
you
an
so
honor.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been great. Appreciate it.
Yes. Wow, this is that.
Nice.
Wow,
Nice.
this has been an awesome show, my brother. This has
sure.
been awesome. It's been a blessing to have you on our show as well, Bobby. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Big fan of your show, especially the Chicago Bulls Central as well.
Guys, what about Keenan Allen? I mean,
That
you
is
kidding
wild.
me? Bobby just sent me the
Oh,
stat.
That's amazing.
I was warming up to
Over
it.
That's
1,000
amazing.
yards, like 7 touchdowns last
I was starting to give up hope that we were going to get a receiver. I was starting to give up hope.
Hey.
What's that?
Look, I did not think we was going to do this at
Yeah,
all.
again,
No.
I was gonna
And we
say,
got him for a fourth round. That's pretty good.
I've been listening to Bobby's show. Bobby's been faithful and very adamant. He's like, and you've been taking some jabs, Bobby. Your boys have been they've been not so hopeful, but you've been pretty chill about it. And today's your day, bro. Today's your day.
that's
Soak
it,
it
man.
up.
You gotta let the GM do what he gonna do. And a lot of the times we want the big names, the most money spent. But when you moving and trying to bring this franchise and trying to make it better, just like Mark said, you got to get your premium guys in the best places, and you got to spend money the right way. And I think that a lot of people, they wanted us to overpay for Curtis Samuels. They wanted us to overpay for Calvin Ridley. And then you just go ahead and shock the whole Bears fandom on Twitter and make them go crazy for another night. And you say we're gonna get his 4th round pick for Keenan Allen. So it's good.
Yeah.
Like, look, if I'm Justin Fields or Caleb Williams, I'm like, all right, thank you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Whoever.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, whoever, which one? Because like I said, I've been see Brandon, he strictly just wants Caleb. You know what I'm saying? But I can't blame him because he ultra talented. But for me, I'm happy either way because I think they literally wanted the same guy. I just like Fields a little bit more because he got the experience already. But I'm not gonna be upset. I'm not gonna be upset if you get Caleb.
What I said is I like both, but my thing is the way it's been looking up until now. Because look at what I'm saying, Bobby. If you look at all of the guys that they've went out and got, it's on a 1-year, 2-year deal. It's not longevity. If you have a guy that's coming in, you would think that you would have like a long contract, to build with Fields, whereas you got a rookie, okay, 1 year, 2-year patchwork, whatever. We'll see what happens. How you doing? Keep it moving throughout the years. We're going to kick the can down the road the next 3 or 4 because as polls, if I go get a rookie that everybody says generational talent, now I just bought myself an extra 3 or 4 years. It's self-preservation at that point. It doesn't matter who you like, whatever. It's a business move, okay? But now with Keenan in the building, this changes everything. This is he's ready to win now if you get a guy like Keenan. Plus you put that tight end in there and the running back that can catch from the Eagles, Swift. Dude, what's going on?
I mean, I look at it as a win-win for whoever the quarterback is going to be. If you're Caleb Williams, this is literally, and I don't even know how could people argue this. This is literally the best situation a rookie quarterback can come into in Bears history, at least as far as I've been alive. Yes. Literally, this is better than Mitch Trubisky when he came here. Yes. This is 10 times better than when Justin Fields got here. So whoever you decide to keep is cool. Yes. And then the last point, when you talk about some of those contracts, I say Ryan Poles is holding certain positions until you got to pay some of your younger guys. So it's okay because you want to save some of that money for some of your younger guys who might have a little more years down the road once it's time to pay those guys.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think he's not spending because he did mention, like he said, when he first got here, I'm going to build this team through the draft. So that means he's going to be using the money for his own people.
Of course.
And even though Cole Kmet and Jalen Johnson and Justin Fields aren't his guys, maybe he's saving his money with these contracts to eventually pay Justin Fields if things pan out this year, if he keeps Fields. So that would make sense as well with the 1-year deals, not signing all these big free agents to these bigger contracts because he wants to give a chunk of the pie maybe to Fields. But that's if he's keeping Fields. We don't know that.
Bro, I'll tell you what, after he just got rid of a fourth round pick, why wouldn't you? Right now, that's what you do. I mean, look at it this way. If I just got rid of my 4th round pick, I went from 5 draft picks down to 4. The only way to force multiply your draft picks is if you take that 1 and you get a haul like 3 or 4. You might even trade back that 9 and get yourself another offensive lineman because Leroy, what I like to do. I like to build in the trenches.
Yeah, build that trench.
What did the Lions do? What did the Lions do when they got the guy that will bite the kneecaps off? They went out and got Sewell. They went out and got a guard. That's what I'm saying, Bobby. That's what I would like. I'd like to build in the trenches. Even on the other side of the ball, I know BJ and I think Q. I think Q also and BJ, they're still not sold 100% on the D line, not just edge, but I think they want to get an interior defensive lineman, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
yep. We definitely need one. We need another.
Like I said, to bounce off of to pick up for Bobby, the quarterback coming in, whoever it is set up nicely.
Yeah,
so it should be no reason why this Bears team should not be fighting for a playoff position. I don't care what nobody says. There should be no reason whatsoever.
Facts.
It should be no missing the playoffs and we wait next year. No. This team should be right there.
Facts.
But fellas, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something really quick. In order for a man to come in and prophesy about taking the North, I don't know if he necessarily knew that the North would be as loaded as they are right now. Did he know the Lions were going to be Lions right now? And did he know that the pack is back? I mean, there ain't no chumps, man. When Rodgers left the building and I saw Love for like the first 5 or 6 weeks, I'm like, oh boy, we got it. And then like towards the half, I'm like, no, it's happening again, Bobby. And so,
but that's what they do. Green Bay develop quarterbacks. They develop quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it, but they develop quarterbacks. I don't know how they do it, but they develop them. They always have a good quarterback.
They're simply not afraid of drafting quarterbacks and letting them sit. The Chicago Bears, and let's keep it a buck, our fans, we're impatient. We don't want us to go out. We don't want to go out here and say, hey, we're going to keep Justin Fields and we still going to draft Caleb Williams and let him sit behind Justin Fields. No, we're at a divide and say that we absolutely can't do that.
Eric says they pay reps. They pay reps.
And I would add on to that too, Brandon.
Yeah.
I understand that these two young teams, they're good. Yeah. But the film is out on Jordan Love now. The film is out. You have an entire offseason. It's no more. It's no more. Wow, we're shocked that he can do this. I still think he's gonna be good, but now how can you adjust as an NFL quarterback? And then with the Lions, the Bears should have beat them twice. That's all I'm gonna say.
Should have beat them twice. Yes.
Hey, the Bears
should have beat everybody except Green Bay. The Green Bay Bears are the only ones that they really did come to play, but everybody else they should have swept. They should have swept the rest of the division.
Hey, we should have beat the Packers the last game of the season. Our offense didn't show up. Plain and simple. The game plan was terrible.
Hey, all you out there, the 110, 120 in the chat for Chicago Sports Podcast, if you are tired of waiting to go to church on Sunday, follow Bobby at Chicago Bears Podcast, man, because the boy's preaching right now. He's bringing it. He's bringing it, man.
Yes,
woo! I did not think about that. That is totally legit. That they've got the film out on him right now, and it's not like the first time ever. You're right.
He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to adjust. That's my whole point. I'm not saying it.
I feel so much
better.
The
people that's gonna freak out. I'm not saying he's gonna be bad because he was actually good to end his season last year, but
he was.
He's going to be one of those quarterbacks who's going to have to adjust because teams now have an entire offseason to prep for him now. It's going to be a lot different.
Now they're going to game plan for him instead of the run game.
Exactly.
Like
hey, wasn't it one of the guys on your show that Bobby that said that we tore Josh Jacobs up this year? We did good against
They
him.
did.
Yes.
Yes.
Me personally, I'm happy Aaron Jones is gone from Green Bay.
But he's still in the division though. So
Hey, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I can lose to a Vikings. I can lose to a Lion. I don't want to lose to Green Bay. That's just me.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Me,
My
though.
brother. Preach.
But I'll tell you what, with Kirk Cousins gone, you almost have to understand that a lot of the repetitions over there is going to be running the ball. There's not going to be a whole lot of throws. So you're pretty much going to go ahead and put 8 in the box and bet on that you got a good chance at putting that pass rush on, the quarterback and making him throw an errant ball. So, and then just make sure that you keep Josh Jacobs in check. And I think we beat the Vikings. So, yeah, man, I'm excited about that. I like that. I'm glad Saquon's not in the bill. Like, we're playing against Saquon, though. That's good. So,
and to go back to what you said, Brandon, we now have 4 draft picks. I'm just so eager to see which trade does pull, because one of them first round picks
He got a trade. Yeah, he got a trade.
That's a guarantee now. If it's the first or the ninth, one of those picks is getting traded.
If not both.
Absolutely. If not both. I'm with Leroy on that.
Oh, I like look at what Eric Rogers said, one of the guys on our show. He says, you don't even lose to a Viking, you lose to Justin Jefferson.
Hey.
Yeah.
Dude, that's slick.
Hey, but like the thing now with this is that this just adds more intrigue to the NFL draft. And that's one of the things that was kind of looked over when Ryan Poles was hired. He always said that he wants the Bears to be relevant. He has that Jerry Jones to him in a little bit, just not always in the public eye, but he's doing things that's keeping the Bears relevant. Like, we have been controlling the ESPN media, like 2/3 of the media, since the offseason. Like, we ain't nobody even talking about the team that won the championship. They talked to him for about a whole day, and then they went right to the Caleb and Fields, or what's Ryan Poles doing? What are the Bears doing with this? The new stadium for the Chicago Bears. Every other day, it's something about the Bears. And Ryan Poles has done a master class job of making the Bears relevant. Whether people hate us or not, we in there.
Wait. What about, hey, go ahead, Bobby. What were you guys saying on your guys' show about Hard Knocks and BET and all that?
Oh, listen to this, fellas.
Yeah, listen.
Because we had the discussion. I know Pat, the designer on ESPN 1000, brought this question up to whoever he was hosting with. I can't remember right now. It was like, there's a real possibility that Ryan Poles could have Caleb Williams and Justin Fields in the same locker room. We on Chicago Bears Central was like, bro, that's absolutely. The NFL is going to say, Chicago Bears, you're doing Hard Knocks, and we don't care if you like it or not.
Sure.
You know how much drama we were discussing is pretty much saying this is going to be better than BMF. It was crazy.
Check it out on Stars. Check it out.
They're going to be on Hard Knocks. They're going to be on Hard Knocks regardless this year. They have the number 1 pick. Regardless, they're going to be on there. They're going to be forced.
With you on that. That will be wild, man.
Yes. Wild. Yeah. No matter what, it's going to be wild year for the Bears. They're going to have to be. They going to be on Hard Knocks whether they want to or not. They got to force. Let's hope they force them.
Hey, Leroy, you watch that that show Power on Stars?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they cut the second. It's Power 2. Yeah, they just got rid of it.
That prosecuting attorney Angela. Oh my God, dude, she's bad, dude.
You talking the original Power? You talking the original Power?
Me and you, we brothers from another mother, man. Because me and you on the same wavelength with that one, bro.
His wife is bad too, dude. Like I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here?
See, Brandon be scooping out the baddies on TV, bro. So he be knowing, yeah. See, we on the same wavelength with that one, bro. But you know what I'm saying? Make sure my wife don't hear me. Hoping I'm not speaking to you. Because I would not be in this studio room right now I'm in right now. I would be on the couch.
She's 109 in the chat. My wife's 110. We're both in the doghouse, bro. Hey, I want you guys to take really quick on Keenan real quick. We got to wrap this up, and then I want to talk about those O-linemen that we signed, because you know how I am about those O-linemen. But I want to hear your guys' favorite takes, each of you in the building real quick, and then the offensive line. We'll try to get out of here in like 5-10 minutes tops. But real quick, Keenan Allen, what's your take real quick, Bobby?
Oh, I love to pick up. Me personally, I know there was people that wanted Curtis Samuel. Me personally, I wasn't really sold. I thought Tyler Boyd was a better option in my opinion. But Ryan Poe's come through and say today, I think that this is a guy that's a legit another number one that you can add on to
Yep.
DJ Moore. Now you can definitely, cause a little bit of commotion per se for the draft. See if you can go ahead and grab some more, trade back, whatever you're gonna do, and go ahead and get another wide receiver that can operate within the slot now, or use Keenan Allen as that bridge number one to slowly transition in Marvin Harrison Jr. That's just me. Go overkill with this. Go overkill with this. Don't play around with this. You said you want to take the North. Take the damn North.
Woo! I love that.
Oh, man. See, yeah, Bobby touched on it real quick, about that overloading on the offensive side. So with that, the Keenan Allen trade, what it means for me is that the receivers that are currently on this roster, not named DJ Moore, count your days. You're gone. You're done. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no saying that, Poles don't still go and get Tyler Boyd to fill the slot role. He can still put the money in on him.
Wow.
And get a Rome of Doomsday if he don't go out the image. I hope he give Marvin Harrison, but he can still pick a Rome of Doomsday. And there you go. We got Boyd and we got a Rome of Doomsday as your fourth receiver. And then that leaves Tyler Scott maybe as your fifth option then. My brain about to explode because it's awesome.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, bro.
What do you like about his game? What do you guys like about his game? What's
big body or got the
body.
total?
And he catches everything.
Who does he remind you of? Like another player? If you could maybe a better player.
I would say like a Chad Ocho.
Ocho?
That's a great
Yeah.
comp. I believe it's a solid comp. Okay. I believe it's a solid comp. For sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna go with like a slimmer version of Brandon Marshall.
That's what I was.
Okay.
That's a solid comp.
His hand placement in the air. He like him and if you watch their tape when they're going for the 50-50 ball, the way they can move their body and body people out, that basketball background. Yeah, second to none.
I love that one better.
They got that Brandon Marshall in their game. So that's what I see.
I just found out that we got the Eagles' 4th round pick. So we got the Eagles gave us 1 year of Keenan Allen. So that's pretty cool. Guys, he'll be 32 in April. Does that concern you, or do you think that's okay, Bobby, to still have?
No.
This is not a long-term solution to me. This is something to help you continue to push forward. It's not a long-term solution, but you absolutely needed to bring more talent in the room. And now if you go and draft multiple young wide receivers, we don't know what the plan is. You got 2 great veterans right in front of them so these young guys can learn, and then you phase out Keenan Allen. That's just how I'm looking at it. Because you always.
But how long do you think he'll be in the building?
1 year,
2 years, 3 years.
You learn about. I say 1 year.
2 to 3 years.
2 to 3.
I think 2 to 3. Yeah, I think they would try to re-sign him for at least a couple of more years.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, fellas. There's no excuse why this team cannot be fighting for a playoff position.
I'm with you on that.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's without saying. I think that's without saying.
I don't care who the quarterback is. If it's a rookie or Phils, there's no excuses, man.
Facts.
Not just the playoffs. We should win the division.
But I think we have to really focus on shoring up that offensive line. I think that is really key here. We got receivers now.
BJ, like you said about that offensive line, we got a couple offensive line. So let's dive into that real quick and then get out of here. What do you guys think about the offensive linemen that we've picked up lately? What's going on?
He's getting the middle together.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying, and I love it.
Okay,
I honestly feel it's more of like he's building the depth for competition.
Yeah, I think it's depth. Yep, I think it's depth.
More competition.
I still think we still need to get a center. I still think we need to draft a center.
Bobby, do you think that this gives us leverage, or like you don't know what I'm doing? I could be going in any direction in the draft. Do you think that's kind of what Poles is grabbing a little bit over here, a little bit over there, a little over there? It's like you don't know where I'm going because I've facilitated all my needs in free agency, so I can go in any direction.
Yeah, I think he hasn't tipped his hand at all.
Okay.
I mean, I think some people gonna try to draw conclusions in whatever direction that they believe that he's going to go. But as of right now, I believe that he's just building out the infrastructure that we want to see to be successful. We just had the conversation with Mark, pretty much saying you got to build these trenches. In short, he said you have to build these trenches. And
Yes, sir.
I know that, and for some people out there, please, can we provide context to the whole offensive lineman thing? He's drafted guys, he signed guys. Some guys worked out, some guys didn't work out, but the effort has been there. And I'm happy that he's continuing this effort, just like Leroy said, and everybody else pretty much agreed. These are depth pieces that are going to be fighting for spots, and that's what I want. I want healthy competition. Get the players in here, and may the best men win. You're not gonna be handed this job. You gotta earn it. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Amen. And the way the reason why I love the guard in depth guys, because the way he set the contract up for Nate Davis, he can get cut if he does not cut the mustard.
Yes.
If he doesn't do well, because Ryan Bates can definitely start in either side guard. Of course.
Yep.
So if Nate Davis or Jenkins can't stay healthy, if neither one of those guys can stay healthy or play well, they're gone.
Jenkins is a monster.
I like Tevin though. I like Tevin.
That's his availability.
Yep.
Who do you like, BJ?
Tevin Jenkins.
He's a monster, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey man, that what do you guys think about that Everett, the tight end Everett, man? Do you look
good? Oh, I like that pickup. That was a good pickup.
I like
that. Was a real good pickup for tight end too. Yeah, I like that. That was real good.
Honestly, could you guys see in a situation where, God forbid, right? We don't wish injury on anybody, but we lost Komet for a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, pull something, needs to take his time to get back out so he doesn't re-injure. You know how that works when you force yourself out there and then you injure yourself again. Do you think this guy could carry the ship until he comes back? Is he that?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
He was still commanding, bracket coverage in certain situations, especially in the red zone. You have to account for him. He's don't get me wrong, he ain't Kelsey or any of these top tier guys. But if you single coverage and you put like a slot corner or a very slow linebacker on him, he's getting a touchdown. He's gonna body that dude out and he's gonna get a touchdown in the end zone. 10 yards, anything 20 yards in, he will eat you alive. And if you do not respect his game, he is going to light you up. Plain and simple. Look what he did to us. Look what he did to us.
Man. I knew
against us.
Bro, Leroy, I knew everything I needed to know when I seen a tight end catching passes in the flat for first downs. And if you are undersized corner or safety, you better be ready to tackle because he's running through you. It's that simple. Yeah. I think he definitely
not like going out of bounds.
I love the sign.
Yeah, he's not afraid of contact at all. He's not afraid of contact at all.
No, he won all that smoke.
Bobby, it's hard to follow your guys' lead on your show because all you guys cook, bro. But what I remember most recently, y'all were talking about how so Poles just doesn't do his due diligence by watching film. And there's nothing wrong with watching film, but he watches the game while it's going down, is what you guys said. And he goes and takes these guys that lays the wood on Justin Fields. We go ahead and get Simone Biles' husband, Jonathan, from the Packers. And we go out and get this Charger who lit it up on us as a tight end. I remember you guys said that on the show. I think it's cool that he does stuff like that, man. I like that because he remembers the actual game while it's being played,
Yeah, then I believe before he signed TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, the Bears played them and they was whooping us. So and then you go say, oh snap, I could find some value in this guy. Oh, Philadelphia, you don't want TJ Edwards, and he's a hometown kid, and he's pretty cheap. We'll take you. We could do something for you. Tremaine Edmonds, young guy, can provide me some value. Hey, we'll take you. So he's gonna find his players. Yeah,
it was a preseason where we played him in the preseason, and he was everywhere. So and it was like, Poles is a chief. He master class. Like he's like people forget that he was a scout for the Chiefs,
bro. That's what I'm trying to tell people.
And to pick back off what y'all saying, people gotta understand, like you said, Leroy, and this presser, He said he's not going to overpay players. That's his plan. He said this.
Because he wants to build through the
he
draft
should-
and pay
he's
before
going to build
got.
the draft and get good value for his talent. That's what he's been saying. So he's
Exactly.
not going to throw money just because he got it to spend. He said this.
Exactly.
And he's sticking. That's why I can appreciate. It could be frustrating, but he's sticking to his plan, and I can appreciate that more than anything.
For sure.
Yeah.
Don't panic and
So-
get somewhere else.
So what the Bears are doing is very similar to what Detroit did. How Detroit built their team up, and the Bears are having like it's almost like a mirror. Detroit before this past season, they were on the cusp. They were like right there, and then they got some more talent, and now they just took the division. I think the Bears are like identical to that. They have the ability to do that if they just get a few more pieces.
BJ, can
Yeah.
I add on to that
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, go
real
ahead.
quick? Remember when Jared Goff first got to Detroit? The Detroit Lions were trash. You had Dan Campbell crying at the podium. That offseason, everyone's like, trade him. Trade Jared Goff. You got to get a new quarterback. You got to reset the rookie contract. All this other nonsense that's constantly being perpetuated in the media today. They stuck with their plan, and they found success. Ryan Poles, as your point, BJ, is mirroring that. But now the biggest decision to see if it's going to continue in kind of that similar way to move for better wins is to see what he does at his quarterback spot. And then we'll have a clear idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we can also do the same thing that they did. They committed long-term at the moment to Jared Goff, but they still drafted the dude. They still drafted the quarterback. They still went after a quarterback.
Yeah, but they drafted him later down the line. They didn't draft him in the first round.
I know, and we don't have to do that either. We can still get a very talented guy, groom him.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying? That is something that the Bears have never done. Maybe we need to start doing that. We can get a really good quarterback. We could get maybe, let's say Bo Nix, somebody falls, because, all these quarterbacks we think are going to go high, they might fall to the second round.
And the guy that helped pick out Patty Mahomes is in our building, folks. Hello.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing for evaluating talent. That's pretty damn good. But Detroit, their window is now because Goff gets his contract extended, and they ain't got the money to pay all that talent. They're gonna have some serious issues, and they're not gonna be all loaded over here and over there, whatever. But BJ, I want to piggyback off of what you're saying. We're going in a similar trajectory as Detroit. Are you trying to tell me that this year in the first round we're going to go after a running back in the first round and a safety?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely. We got our running back. We're not going to draft a running back that high. Absolutely not. If we did something like that, now we're going to have to question Paul. We're going to have to question where he's going with it.
They sent the safety to Detroit, and we saw how well it worked out for him.
But we have 3 running backs now. We don't need another one.
No, I hear you, bro. I hear you. It was a joke, man. I was just kidding, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
I agree. We are looking very similar to it, but and I do like their coach, but I don't know. Flus he's pretty slick, man. I watched. He'll be on J-Mac, fullback J-Mac. Shout out to J-Mac, man. He's going to be on probably next week or the week after. He's just so busy. He just keeps kicking that can down the road when I hit him up. But he was saying that he was saying that things are going to look very interesting, and he's looking at stuff from, I think, a whole different perspective now. And it's kind of cool to get an old head from the Bears, but also be in the position that he's in as a sideline guy. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool, man.
Now, my question for all you guys: if the Bears do somehow miss the playoffs by a wide margin, like three games, I think Pose is safe. What about is Eve gone next year?
Oh, Eve gone. He's gone. If they don't do well this year, he's gone.
You gotta be
I think he's gone. I think he's gone.
Eberflus with the beard or without the beard? That's the question.
With the beard. Keep the beard.
With the beard.
Keep the beard.
Keep the beard.
Yeah. J-Mac said he's top 3 best looking dressed and flyest coach right now in the NFL. Top 3.
Yeah. To answer your question, though, Q, I honestly, a lot of people might come screaming at me, but I think he stays. I think he stays if they. I honestly think this whole continuity thing and like I think because the media may want it. I don't think it's going to happen. I just think that if we go 7-10 and we have more improvement and it's just things just didn't break our way, I see him staying.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
Honestly, I don't see us going 7-10 again, though.
Especially if that defense stays in the top 10. If that defense
it's going to be top 10.
And he
it's
does
going to be
anything,
top 10.
If he does anything and had any say about this roster and the coaching and all that on the defensive side of the ball, that bought him some time. The beard bought him some time. And I tell you another thing that's time. We got 138 million next year projected without any extra TV, how they kick the TV contracts in and all that. That might add up another 15 million, whatever it is next year when they set the market. You know what I'm saying, Bobby? But projected right now next year, Poles has got another 138 million in the kitty to play with, bro. That's a lot of money. That's crazy.
That is insane.
That's insane, boys. So, hey, really quick, Bobby, we already said it. Well, I know I have. I've done my due diligence, bro. Can you please tell everybody, if they don't know yet, where to find you?
Yes. You can find me on Chicago Bears Central, just rocking it out with me and my co-hosts Hayes, C-Dub, Steve-O, and Big Kev, just holding it down, representing. And it was an honor to work with you guys today. Definitely enjoyed talking to Mark Carrier.
Watch your show again, my brother.
And yeah, man, let's keep working on it. Let's keep building this community. Let's keep networking and actually banding together real Bears fans that can look at things from different perspectives and not bash the other group because they have a difference of opinion. That's the people I want to work with. That's the people we should continue to work with. And those are the people we need to support, not the bozos. And, I can go on and on. But shout out to y'all and what y'all doing here. Y'all got a lot of
good Cowherd. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Shout out to my boy Hayes. Shout out to Hayes, man.
Yes,
I know how you feel about him. Yeah. Man, this
is really quick. I've always wanted to ask you, Bobby, why do you guys call him Drip?
The man be fresh as hell, bro.
Dude,
every time. Check every episode. It's a different shirt. It's the hat and the shirt combination, and it be hidden. So we just C-Dub came out of nowhere. It was like Drip, and then it just stuck.
Dude,
it just stuck.
If you guys ever got sponsored by the Chicago Bears clothing or something, it'd be
I wish. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Yeah. Hey, y'all hear them? Hey, Bears, Bulls. You know what I'm saying? Blackhawks, like they cover y'all stuff, man. So they be on their game. Look, they didn't broke stuff before all the other experts broke it. So
they didn't did a Keenan Allen video already too. So
oh, nice.
Come on now, see y'all. Look, come on. You know what I'm saying? Looked him up.
They even did the offensive lineman.
You know what I'm saying?
Third string offensive lineman. They do
just
a video just for that guy.
We tired souls this week. We tired.
I feel you, brother.
Hey, man, sorry we took you to extra innings, man, but we really appreciate it.
Man, I cannot complain. This is what I love to do. Love to talk about my Bears, my Bulls, and then it's always good to work with good, solid men. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, bro, I want to build a community. I ain't got time for hate. I ain't got time for jealousy, dislike. I like working with good people. So let's continue to work. I'm definitely ready to work with some more content with you guys soon.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate you,
bro. Anytime.
Appreciate you.
Love to be on your show too, vice versa.
Definitely. We could probably chop it up. Definitely get some draft content. Do you know the draft? We be on that going live for a couple hours. Maybe y'all could pop in, chat it up with the guys and figure it out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Thanks for having
Bobby.
me, man.
Yes, thanks for showing up, brother.
Appreciate catch y'all on the next one.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, this has been a great show. We appreciate everyone coming through, spreading the love, good vibes. It's been a record-setting show for our show today.
Bro, I wanted to lose my mind so many times. I was like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. I'm like, can you guys see that? Can you guys
Nah.
see
Yes.
the number? Yeah.
Yes, I can see it. And you know what? That's the power of having, having a great community of Bears fans and great people showing out, showing love. Let's get these likes up. Let's get that more support, more vibe, good love, you know what I'm saying? So we can keep having these awesome shows, keep having these collaborations with the guys from Chicago Bulls Central and Pat the Designer and the Windy City Breeze. This is how those good things happen. And we can't do this with great fans like
hey,
you guys.
if you guys want us to compete with the big dogs, the 4-letter network and all that, and you think that we got some decent content, please like and subscribe and follow us and be a friend and tell a friend, because I'll tell you what, these 3 boys in this corner, they're going to go to work for you, man. And they've been here faithfully. Anytime we got something Monday through Friday and we see something that drops, if they ain't with the family first, but if they ain't with the family and they can make time, they will make time for you. And we're not even drawing a check. We're just doing this because we love it, guys. So please, all you got to do, it takes 5 seconds. Drop it like it's hot. Hit that like button. Subscribe. And tell everybody and your mama about us, man. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, thank you guys so much for being on all the time. I really appreciate your guys' love, Q, BJ, and Leroy. You know how I feel about you, bro. And thank you for your son coming on the other day. That was really special, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Yeah, he appreciates coming on, and maybe I'll work something out with him later on. But until next time, guys. Peace, love, good vibes. Chicago up, bear down. Love you all.